my channel. I'm so sorry that I have been MIA, but I'm back. I'm gonna have a lot of content for this week, I promise. I'm gonna try to get 3 videos up so we are back into the swing of things. But today I'm sharing with you my Root 1 brand tutorial. Finally. You know I love Root, and just so you guys know, it's just Root Cosmetics. It's not Root Priti. That's just their Instagram and their website handle. I know it's so funny because I used to say that too, but the people at Root are never saying it. So anyways, I have just about everything to do a full face. Root is really, really affordable. You guys know how these work. I'm going to use everything from Root to do a first impressions. I will be starting with you guys with concealer though. I'm going to put a little bit of a base on right now. But the foundation I got in the shade N2, and it's just too light for me. I just don't think I'm an N. It just looks ashy to me still. So I must just be a golden. You can see how pale that is. But I will say, I have used this foundation before. I have the old packaging in the shade 6. They have a way bigger shade range now, which I think is very similar to the shade I picked up. It might be a little bit darker. And I used it because I got the most freakish breakout in the center of my face at one time. And it was so red, nothing would cover it. I used this wet with a sponge. I mentioned it at favorites a while back. It completely covered it. It's great coverage. It's a lot lighter coverage when you use it dry, but if you use it wet with the sponge, it's great. Tools, since I'm not going to be using any powder foundation, I'm just going to be using bronzer. I'm going to skip this. This is the Root Just Flat Kabuki brush. I'm not kidding you when I say the Root brushes are the softest brushes I've ever used. I just want them to make more. Really easy, really has a lot of give to it, so it's good for just buffing it into the skin, but it's not super dense. It's denser than like, I don't know, like a powder brush, but it's not as dense as like a regular kabuki, so it really allows that buffing motion, but it won't give you like insane coverage, just so you guys know. And I don't know what I did with it, but I don't enjoy this product, so I wanted to quickly mention it. Their Priti blender, it's rock hard to me. I much prefer the regular beauty blender or the Hint Beauty sponge. So now let's officially get into the video. Okay, so starting off, I didn't get a concealer because I'm not really the biggest cream concealer fan, but so I can give you guys a little bit of an idea of the formulation and try a product that I was dying to try anyway. I picked up the Corrector Pen in the shade Knockout. I think this is the only one they have. It's a really nice deep peach. It's deeper than the Jane Iredale. If you guys pick that up off my recommendation. I have like 2 uses left of my Jane Iredale, so I went ahead and picked this up. I've tried it a handful of times, but I'm going to share it with you guys. I think it is so great. So I'm just going to take the Hint Beauty concealer brush. You get a ton of products, by the way. This is, oops, doesn't say on there. I'm going to have the product name, price, and amount that's in there. I'll have it come up on the screen as I am applying it. But like I said, I'm going to take this dense, just flat synthetic brush, and I'm just going to lay down the color where I get the most dark, and then I'm just going to do a little bit out here because I get really dark on the outer corner as well. And I'm just going to blend it in with my finger, and then I will zoom in. Well, actually, let me put my concealer on first, and then I will show you guys the difference between the 2 sides. This was very orange, so you're definitely going to need to put something over the top of it. But like I said, I don't have a Root concealer. I just picked up the Corrector, so I'm just going to go in with the Hint Beauty concealer today and show you guys the difference. Okay, so I know the Hint Beauty has great coverage on its own, so it's a little bit hard to say. I wish I could just go ahead and put makeup under here to show you guys like the true difference. If you would like me to do that, I could do that in another video, but I'm just gonna look lopsided and I got things to do. But you could just see how bright my under eyes look on this side. I'm telling you, with just the concealer alone, that purpleness would still sort of show up. And I mean, it's not perfect because I do have really dark under eye circles, if you guys can see, but it's gorgeous, and the formulation doesn't crease. It sits on the skin beautifully. I did go ahead and set it with a little bit of powder. I don't have the Root Setting Silk, but I did try a sample of it and I like it. It's just a little drying for me. So that is the concealer. I'm gonna follow up with you guys in the other products in a couple of minutes. Okay, so now that I'm looking all evened out, let's move on to bronzer. I think they have a powder bronzer, but even better, they have a press. So the press bronzer is really quite small. This is like in comparison to their products, but it's big enough where you could get a brush in there and do all of that. I have the shade Spiced and I think this is gorgeous. I almost completely forgot about it, but the tone is so good. Great for an eyeshadow as well. This is pretty dark, so I think it would work up to a solid, probably a good medium complexion. I will swatch it for you guys when I swatch all of the blushes and things like that. So I'm going to go in with just my usual Afterglow Cosmetics brush, and I'm just going to apply this to the usual places. Has a very warm, bricky undertone, but you guys know I think that suits me. I do have a bit of a tan going on as well, so I'm just going to bring it down the neck. It's super pigmented. I even put too much on. I'm going to have to lightly blend that away. Did a little heavy-handed there, so just be careful. Use a duo fiber brush if you want it to just be a little bit softer. Okay, so I know everyone has their preferred method of doing this, but I like to do bronzer, highlight, then blush. I think it makes it look like the most natural into the skin, because we are going in with my favorite Root product ever. If you're new to this channel, get it. It's amazing. You're gonna see how amazing it is. This is their white gold illuminator. So unfortunately the two highlighters they have are the white gold and the rose glow, I think it's called. I don't think that those are gonna work on deep complexions because this can pull very silvery, and then the other one is very pink. So I'm hoping they come out with more color, something a little bit more deeper gold, especially for the summertime. But for now, white gold is amazing. It's a loose powder that you get 3.25 grams. I use this all the time and I'm not even close to running out. So let's watch this magic happen right now. Like, this is the only highlighter in Green Beauty that I've found that is like blinding like that. Makes a great eyeshadow too. It's like, it's fabulous. And I know I don't even need to say anything, but like, it's so smooth. It doesn't make your pores look super crazy because this area is where I can get pores. It's perfection and you need it. So I have 4 other cheek products from Root that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to swatch them all and we will go that way. I have 3 pressed blushes. One is a blushing bronze, and then I have one of their loose blushing bronzes. So let me swatch those. We'll talk a little bit about them and we will get one on this face. Okay, so quickly, this is the Spiced Bronzer. This is the Sophie Blushing Bronze. You can see those have more of a sheen to them. We have the Rosette Blush, that's matte. And then we have the Cassandra blush, which is also matte and a dusty pink. And then we have the loose Sunniest Blushing Bronze, which was a collaboration with A Beautiful Pursuit and Miss Sensible. So those are all of the colors. You can see that they're beautiful. Everything is matte. The bronzer has some shimmer in it, but it doesn't really show up on the skin at all. But the blushes are matte, and then the blushing bronzes are really cool because they're like a deep tone and they have like a radiance to them. So these two are some of my favorites, the 2 blushing bronzes. I wore them to death, honestly, I really did. Today, I think I am going to go in with a touch of Rosette though, which is that more pinky color. Also pressed. All the pressed formulations are beautiful but very, very pigmented. So for a blush, I like to be super careful. I'm going to take the Luxie 504, pat it in, and I'm going to dust off the excess on the back of my hands. And then I'm just going to do the most faint amount. And you can see, look, that's still, like that's a lot of blush for me. You can see that they just glide on. They're so easy. Like, almost the best part about it and its downfall is that it's pigmented, so just be super careful with them. Okay, so let's move on to eyes because I'm looking a little bit crazy right about now with all this face makeup and no eye makeup on. So I do have 6 of their loose shadows. They have loose shadows that retail for $10. I believe. And then they have pressed shadows, which retail for $12. Some of the best eyeshadows some of the best eyeshadows that I've ever tried, sincerely. I love both formulations, but I know a lot of people are anti loose shadow, so here are all of my pressed ones. This is Cabernet, Macaroon, Rosewood, Sweet Tea, and Gatsby. I might swatch these, but you're gonna see me use them, so don't worry about it. And then as far as loose shadows, I have Tan Rose, Pursuit, A-Team, Holland, Bubblegum, which is a really awesome pink shade, and Sensible. The 3 shadows I have mentioned in a full dedicated video, so I will link that down below. Everything else, let's just kind of go for it. So I'm just gonna do like my usual look. I don't like to really get creative with these because I just want you guys to see how the shadows perform. So another tool that I wanted to feature, this is the, I don't know, I think it's just called the blending brush, number 10. Super loose. I wish it was a little bit more fluffy, but again, the softness is like out of this world. Does a great job. So I'm gonna take that pressed shade in Sweet Tea, and I am just going to dust this through my crease. I don't think you can really find better pressed shadows at this price point in the green beauty market, to my knowledge. They're just amazing. Shade range I wish was expanded, but they do have great basic shades. Like, you're not gonna not be able to find a shade that you like. So super pigmented. They don't have a lot of fallout, which is really nice, and they aren't pressed with talc, so that's like kind of amazing. So just Sweet Tea, just like that. Love that eyeshadow brush. Definitely recommend trying that out. Now I'm gonna go in with something a little more tapered. This is the Luxie 229. And I'm actually going to start building up the crease a little bit more with the spiced bronzer. Just so, you know, a little 2-in-1 action. The tones of these are just really similar, so I wanted to highlight that for sure. Boom. And to just deepen it up even more, gonna make it really smoky towards the outside, I'm going in with Cabernet, which obviously is a wine lover. As a Cabernet lover, I love this shadow. So I'm just going to lay that down and put that right into the crease. I'm using a Delium Tool 781, by the way. Okay, so my camera shut off on me, classic. And I thought I was gonna do Tan Rose, which is like one of my favorite, easy, just suits everybody sort of shimmering shades. And I think I will use it in the inner corner. But I think I'm gonna go wild today and use the shade Bubblegum over my lid, which is like a sparkling pink. I think it'll really pair nicely with the sort of pinky tones that I've already been working with. So I'm just gonna take a flat synthetic brush, you know how I do, dampen it a little bit, and that's just how you get the most foiled effect. But I will say all of the loose shadows, to build the pigment, you can use them dry. It just gives a different sort of more metallic look when you use them wet. So I'm just going all the way across the lid with that one. It's sort of like a purpley pink when you apply it. Has such nice shimmer to it. Beautiful, beautiful shade. I'm gonna apply this, build up the crease even more, and then I'm gonna apply some more of this because this will probably dissipate, but that's very normal for shimmery shadows on the lid to dissipate as you start working away and blending. So it's just a lot of back and forth, but there's no rush here, people. Unless you're in a rush, then you probably wouldn't be doing all of this. Underneath the eyes, I'm just gonna do the same sort of thing. I'm taking Sweet Tea, just on an Antonym brush, and then I'm gonna take my favorite, if I can find her, you guys know the brush I'm trying to find. Here it is. Luxie 221. It's so good. So I'm gonna take Cabernet and just, this is going a lot smokier than I had intended, but we are rolling with it, people. You can see how easy everything's blending together. I don't really need to put a lot of effort into it. It's so good. So like I said, I think I'm going to take a little bit of Tan Rose on a smudger. Not a smudger, just any tiny brush. And we're going to hit the inner corner really quick with that. There we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. Another eye product I have from Root is their liquid liner. Now I'm really going to zoom you guys in so you could see it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's definitely not Kat Von D tattoo liner. I think it can get a little bit streaky. Here, I'll show you. And it's probably just because of the brush. You guys can see like that. But all I'm going to do with it, just for the sake of this video, is I'm going to make a thin line all the way across my lash, and just to make it all tie together. So let's, all right, so we're in. So let's just quickly do it. I do actually kind of like the handle of it. It's nice and long. So I'm just going to do a little bit of that. Super easy. So it's not perfect. I just don't want to make it too thick. So it just looks like that. You can see it's nice. It's definitely more of a shiny finish. It's not really going to dry down matte, but you guys will see that in just a minute. So let me finish off this other eye, and I will show you guys how the mascara performs. So just like that, like I said, it'll do the job, especially if you don't want to do a wing. A wing is where I struggle with it a little bit more. For mascara, very popular mascara is the 100% Lash from Root. I'm going to show you guys how it looks. I'm going to just apply it, and then I will give you my personal thoughts on it. And it also has a very candy sweet smell to it. I don't know why that is. Let me see the ingredients. Yeah, it has some vanilla in there. That must be it. So let's take a look at how it performs. Oh, well, first, here's the brush. Very, very standard sort of bristly brush. So there's one coat. You can see it is amazing at lengthening. Just look at that. I'm going to do a couple more coats and then show you guys, and we will talk about the final thoughts. So here's the mascara after a couple more coats. You could see it's kind of fabulous. I wanted to save off on raving about it before you guys actually saw what I was talking about it. But I would say this mascara, the Hint Beauty Mascara, and the Glory Boom Mascara are my top three. Check this baby out. Like, look at that. Especially with the little liner I did. It's just perfect. Alright, you guys, so we're almost done. We have lip products, and lip products from Root, you got three options. We have the Priti Balms, we have the Priti Glosses, and then we have the lipsticks. I do have one of their lipsticks. I just don't know where it is. It's in the shade Vintage, but I am going to speak to how I like them. The shade range just doesn't really speak to me. That is my biggest problem with the product. They're all quite deep in tone, I find, or they have shimmer in them, and I don't really like that. The shade Vintage does have some shimmer, but it doesn't really show up on the lips. They're that type of formulation that dissipates very quickly, despite being richly pigmented, because they are super hydrating. So if you have maybe more mature skin, mature lips, you find that stuff settles, this would be something good for you, but just make peace with the fact you are going to be applying on a pretty regular basis. So for Priti Balms, I have two. I have the shade Paris, and I have the shade 210. I have the shade Loyal too, but another one that has escaped me. But I'm going to definitely use one of these today. I think 210 was a gift. And then Paris is one that I used super frequently at one point. So these are very moisturizing. They're only $8, and you can see that they don't have a ton of pigment, but they're buildable. So that's like one pass, and then as you build it up more and more so, have a shiny finish. the texture of a lip balm, of course, so I'm actually going to go in a little bit with the shade Paris. You can see what it looks like on my lips. Because he's going to give me a little bit of color, because I don't want to just go bare lip, but nothing crazy. They're super pretty. They're super easy. If you're a minimal person, chuck this in the bag. They're so little, compact, easy. And then glosses, I have two. I have the shade Brooke, which I picked up at Indie Beauty Expo. Like the most perfect brownie nude shade. I'm going to be using that in just a moment here. And then one that I just picked up that I thought would be a really fun shade for summer. Would actually go nice with this look in like a more pop of color sort of way. This is the shade Cora. And the pigment on these is beautiful. They're not at all sticky. And they're great. Let me see the smell of these. These also have that sort of vanilla MAC scent. But like I said, not sticky at all. So good. I can't get over it. You know I love me a good gloss. Alright, you guys, that is it. This is my finished look using Root. I really hope you liked it. Every single product I mentioned in this video is going to be listed down below, but for a quick run through of my absolute must-have favorites, let's get into this really quick. First up, definitely try that Knockout Corrector Pen if you're in the market for a corrector. The price is really, really great, cheaper than the Jane Iredale, and you get more product, so really excited to play with that. If you don't have the Root White Gold Highlighter already, what are you doing with your life? Just get it. It's so beautiful if it works on your skin tone. And let's keep our fingers crossed that they make one for our dark skin girls out there. Eyeshadows, both loose and pressed, try them. They're so good. Mascara, absolutely yes. And that's about it. Those are probably like my absolute, like I would die without them products. All the products are super nice. The only thing I probably wouldn't repurchase is the liquid liner, but like I said, for just a little line over the eyelid it'll do. It's just not my favorite for a wing, and I do need to check out the powder foundation and trying to find my shade. I will say though, the powder foundation looks very makeup-y. It's not a super natural sort of look in my personal opinion, and any of the pressed products are really nice, but the eyeshadows stand out to me the very, very most. So that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If there was anything that you would like me to try from Root that I haven't yet, leave me a comment down below. If you haven't shopped at Root yet and you shop through my link down below, you will save 10% off with the coupon code that I leave, and then I get a small kickback from it. It just gives me some store credit so I could buy more products to share with you guys on this channel. But thank you guys so much for watching. As always, the video is finally here. If you like these one brand tutorials, please subscribe and stay tuned because I have a Sappho one brand tutorial coming up very, very soon. But thank you guys so much for all the love and support as always. I will be much more active this week, so stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram if you want at greenbunnyvideo, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.